ॐ कल्याणोल्लाससीमा कलयतु कुशलं कालमेघाभिरामा काचित् साकेतदामा भवगहनगतिक्लान्तिहारिप्रणामा सौन्दर्यह्रीणकामा धृतजनकसुता सादरापाङ्गदामा दिक्षु प्रख्यातभूमा दिविशदभिनुता देवता रामनामा. After the Agni Pariksha, Rama decides to immediately go back to Ayodhya since 14 years was over since he started exile. Bharata had taken a vow that if he did not return within the time, he will end his life. So Rama had to hurry. Sugriva and Vibhishana both appealed to Rama that they would like to accompany him to Ayodhya and witness the grand affair. Rama obliged and everyone started the journey in Pushpaka Vimana. En route, Rama was showing all the places to Sita. Sita desired that Vanara women also join them. Accordingly, they too came aboard the Vimana. They landed near Bharadwaja's ashrama. The sage asked them to take rest for the night and proceed to Ayodhya the next morning. They agreed and remained as his guest for that night. Hanumanta, as always, was sent as a messenger to Bharata. He was also asked by Rama to meet Guha on his way. Rama had to again say the story so far to Bharata. Bharata was so happy hearing the news that he offered many gifts, including girls, to Hanumanta. By all means, Rama's Pattabhisheka was a grand affair. There, we come to know about one interesting thing. It looks like Bharata had started preparations to help Rama in his war with Ravana. There were a lot of kings from various places who had assembled there to proceed to Lanka and help Rama in the war. All of them became witness to the ceremony. Rama offers the post of Yuvaraja to Lakshmana, but Lakshmana refuses it, saying he is content being with Rama and does not want any additional responsibilities. Then Bharata was selected for that position. All the guests were showered with special gifts. Rama tactfully asked Sita to give a special ornament, a special chain, to someone whom she feels has the right mix of strength and intelligence. Undoubtedly, she selects Hanumanta, proving that he had a special place in both of their lives. Valmiki's Ramayana ends with a short description of Rama's rule. Of course, the Uttarakanda is a part of Valmiki's Ramayana, but in traditional recitation or Parayana of Ramayana, Uttarakanda is not dealt with. Uttarakanda deals with the banishment of Sita, birth of Kusha and Lava, and Sita's second ordeal to prove her purity. It also speaks about many background stories. It talks about the birth of Ravana, his conquest in the initial phases, the story of birth of Vanaras. It also has the stories of Shatrughna's conquests. It also says about the end of Rama's avatara and how it happened. But most traditional performances of Ramayana also does not include the Uttar Ramayana. There may be many reasons for this. One major reason is that an epic should end at a very happy note. And Pattabhisheka provides that exact point where the recitation of Ramayana can end in a happy note. What follows is a very painful set of episodes, whether it is the banishment of Sita or the end of Rama Avatara. Everything hits a tragic note. Therefore, traditionalists prefer to end Ramayana at the Pattabhisheka phase itself. Respecting this tradition set from the long time, we too stop the story of Ramayana at Pattabhisheka stage itself. Mangalam Kosalendraya Mahaniya Gunatmane Chakravarti Tanujaya Sarvabhaumaya Mangalam. It is always a tradition to stop the recitation of Ramayana by reciting the first sloka of the Ramayana itself, thereby indicating that it is a cyclic affair. The first sloka of Ramayana goes something like this: Tapasvadhyaya niratam tapasve vagvidam varam naradam paripapracha valmiki munibungavam. So, it goes to say that as Brahma told Valmiki, the story of Ramayana will always be there in this world. So, the cyclic nature of Ramayana is always said to emphasize on this fact. Swasti prajabhyam parivalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha go brahmanebhya shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sugino bhavantu.